Welcome back to this live stream. So sit back, relax. We want to play a video of Kenneth Okonkwo as he was criticizing Peter Obi. You know, he is not at rest. He's not at rest at all. He's just disturbing himself and having sleepless nights because Peter Obi left ADC. They know what they wanted to do to him. That is why they are not happy. So let's listen to the things he's saying. Remember to subscribe.
Into primary, he left. He gave a reason that it was monetized, it was dollarized. So that's why in 2027, the ADC wanted to give him everything to avoid him making any excuse. But I'll tell you what will shock you. When I came into ADC, the first strategic meeting I met, before even the unveiling, I told them, don't build anything on Peter Obi because he's not going to contest under ADC. He will still leave.
You told them this?
Outrightly. In the first meeting that I went.
Even before the unveiling of the...
Even before the unveiling of the party. I told you we were, in a coalition. Yes. We were, negotiating. So it's an honor and a privilege that they called me to negotiate with me on my person. Let me tell you another thing I told them. I said, I am not going to come into the coalition through the southeast led by Obi because it will be a waste of my time, because I know he will eventually leave and nobody will portray me as a man that is unstable as water, because then I will not live with him. So why try it in the first place? They were looking at me. So they were like, are you sure? I said, yes, I'm sure of what I'm saying, because I stopped being a spokesperson to him because I was sure that he was not stable. And we went on. That is why they were consulting him on his own. They were consulting me on my own. We were moving together. And they were weighing his words. And they were weighing my words.
Welcome to Nigeria Unfiltered on Symphony TV. My name is Olawale Oluwade. And my guest today is Dr. Kenneth Okonkwo, veteran actor, lawyer, politician, and currently ex-official member of the African Democratic Congress, NWC. You're welcome to the show once again, Dr. Okonkwo.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this meeting once again, and thank you, viewers from wherever you are watching.
Okay, let's get right into our conversation without wasting our time. Your former principal, Mr. Peter Obi, and former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Kwankwaso, just exited your party, ADC, over the weekend, on Sunday to be precise. So, how did this news, how did you receive the news? And what's your take on their decision to exit the party?
I don't know why people make mountain out of a molehill. For me, I did not think it was relevant enough to bother me. If you discovered that I've not said anything about it. I've not made any comment in any of my social media network, because what is there to bother yourself about? When you have a politician that will always move and is still moving. Within 6 months, Peter Obi has been a member of 3 political parties. By December 30th, he was in Labour Party. By December 31st, he was a DC member. By May 3rd, he is in NDC. Were it not for the Electoral Act that forbids people from moving at a certain point, I cannot guarantee he wouldn't have moved to another party before the end of this electoral cycle. So that is him. However, let me note that moving from one party to the other is not what questions or interrogates a politician's character or capacity or competence. Because in Nigeria, we can see that the political atmosphere is fluid. and things change rapidly. And so I would not characterize any politician that moved from one party to the other as lacking in character or competence. But what I am interested in more is the reason for your movement. What is your reason for moving? That is what will characterize whether you did it out of competence or character or convenience. Now, what did Peter Obi give as a reason for his movement? He said, I do not have any problem with David Mark.
Well, because
that means he didn't have any problem
to
with the
bother
party.
yourself about.
He said, I don't have any problem with Atiku Abubakar, meaning he does not have any problem with any of the aspirants. But look at the reason he gave. He said, I am running away from the challenges of ADC. I don't like trouble. I don't like challenges. And so let me go to where there is peace. And that is what struck me. Can you imagine a politician who is asking you for your support to be president of the most challenged country on earth? Nigeria today is the most challenged country, both physically and mentally, on earth. The fourth most terrorized nation on earth. The nation that has the most rapidly going down economy, borrowing more than it can repair, meaning a nation that is going into bankruptcy economically, a nation that people are being killed every day. The terrorists at times tie people on the stake, put fire under them and burn them. A nation where the youths and women are unemployed, and most of them are unemployable. So you have this kind of myriad of problems, challenges, and a man opened his mouth, a politician, and confessed he's running away from challenges. So if you're running away from challenges, what is your business asking Nigerians to trust you with a country that is most challenged? That statement has already buried his political career, because you cannot be asking to be challenged when you're running away from challenges. This spoke to his incapacity, to his incompetence and lack of character. And that is what is most important. Hold on. It is worse enough that he said that he's running away from challenges, but it is more terrible that he lied about it. He gave the reason is because of the challenges in ADC, but that is a lie. Why is it a lie? First and foremost, the challenges, which mostly are legal, that he referred to, were the challenges he met when he came into ADC. For instance, the Nafiu Bala legal challenge was instituted against ADC on the 2nd of September. Peter Obi came in December 31st. So the challenge was there. He knew it before coming in. So it couldn't have been because of the legal challenges that he left ADC. By May 3rd, when he left, it was exactly the same position ADC was when he came in. That is exactly the same position ADC was when he left. So he lied when he said it was because of the legal challenges. Because volunteer non-fit injuria, what you know existed and you entered into it knowingly, you cannot claim that that is the reason. So the issue about legal challenges, he lied about it because that was not the issue. But we'll come to that later. Now, why do you think that Peter Obi did not give the excuse that he left because the primary that will be organized will be dollarized? Why do you think that he didn't give the excuse that it will be monetized? You know why? Before Peter Obi came in to ADC, he gave it as a condition that he will be the one that will nominate the NOS, the National Organizing Secretary. That is the position that organizes every Congress and every primary. And he was very clear about it because he wanted to be the one to organize the Congresses and the primary. And the party has ceded it to him without asking questions on the competence and the corruption index of the person he's bringing. They have ceded it to him. When the time came for registration, E-line, it was still his own aide, my own sister, Aisha Yusuf, that was placed to be in charge of the E-line registration, because that will determine the numbers of people that will vote if we go into direct primary. So, and the reason also is that so that he will be the one in charge of determining who will vote and the procedure and the committees that will organize the primary. So Peter Obi knows that he was giving all those concessions so that he will know that ADC was prepared for free, fair, and credible primary election. That is why you didn't hear him say, oh, it's because it is monetized. Oh, those some of his followers that are of the street urchin family will still be talking, like Rabiu the cookies, saying dollarize. ADC wants to bring something new. That is why Peter is not saying, I am leaving because the primary is monetized, because he is the one who would have organized the primary. Now, having said this, then what is now the true reason why he left?
So let me, at this point, sorry to butt in, let me now read what he said in his statement that he released.
Right.
First, he said, the ADC has been plagued by deepening internal crisis and a toxic political environment. He also pointed to worsening factional battles, deep suspicion, and a growing lack of unity in the ADC. These are some of his stated reasons for leaving. Of course, he didn't mention the issue of dollarization or rigged, whatever, So, can you respond quickly, briefly, so that we can? There's a lot to do to cover, Dr. Kenneth.
Good. I was to tell you the real reason he left.
Okay.
Because as you can